Eccia, che vedi? Che gusta? Allora. You look like at me. I'm like, how dare you? I know it, man. Go ahead, there you go. Shake it off. I know it, man. Do it, man. Yeah, yeah. Ooh. Keep trying.
Bless his heart.
He tried his hard.
Hey, is that Wanda?
Who? Wanda.
Wanda, she emailed me.
Who's Wanda?
Someone who has been watching our videos and said that she enjoyed it.
You lying?
She said, yes. Hi, Wanda. How are you? Yep. This is my husband. You know my husband. This is Wanda. Say, hey, Wanda.
Oh, hey, Wanda.
We're waiting for more people to come through. He said, yes, Victor, she know your name. Wanda, how long have you been watching?
This is the first time we did a live and like, oof.
His fault.
We did a live and like, oof.
Forever.
About a year or two.
Let me see how long it's been. Let me see. 8 months ago.
Oh, 8 months ago? Okay, that ain't bad.
I go all the way back to the Dorothy story. Dang! That's 2017.
16 years going on 17.
Wow, I didn't know that. Is this your first time saying something or 2017 when we started?
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to see. We're trying to see if anyone's going to come on here. It's been a minute since we've been on here, so I don't know if the notifications went out or not.
They probably don't do notifications. Yeah. It's been a minute. Show real nice on your phone.
Thank you. No, I've been y'all lives before. Oh, okay.
Okay, you don't remember.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm sorry.
Because it's been a long time.
I'm sorry. It's been a long time. Yeah.
It's been a long time. Butter Pup, you alright? Butter Pup.
I'm looking down at the computer
okay?
so I can see my
You alright, man? Yeah. I know. Boy, it's getting in.
So did the question that you asked me earlier, did I answer that for you? Like you have more clarity now? This is just us three right now. Well, someone else just came on. So Wanda, did my answer your question? Hey, you guys, if you're coming in, say hi. Let us know who you are. We want you guys to see our face. We're still alive. See? Still married. See? We still love each other. See? Mwah. My baby birthday in what? 2 days?
Yeah.
December 23rd, my baby birthday. Guess how old he'll be? How old this bald head's gonna be? Why you say it was sad?
You probably told her something she didn't want to hear.
It was biblical.
Yeah, it is.
It was sad, but I'll get over it. What do you... Okay, so the question was, babe, let me see if I can find the question right quick. Just so people know.
She did email you or something?
Yeah, she emailed us. Hold on, let me see if I can find your question right quick. Just in case others may have, you know, let me see. All right, so...
Who wants to hear that their
spouse could remarry after they die? Oh, okay, I got you. Understood. So this was Wanda's question. So Wanda's question was, let me see. She says, "Good evening. First, I want to say love your videos because they give me clarity about God and my future husband." Wait a minute, child, I'm trying to be cute, so I can't see. Wait a minute, let me
You know, you gotta
expand.
put your glasses on.
I'm trying to be cute. Okay. There is something that has been bothering me for a few weeks now. I used to find myself praying for a husband, but recently I learned there won't be any marriages in heaven but the one to God. We will be reunited with our spouses, but in a different way. My question or problem is, how will we be reunited if widows or widowers married someone else?
Who said they're
Thanks.
gonna be reunited?
Thanks for your response, or maybe a video. So
Yeah.
this was my response to her question. Let's see if I can find my response. Because I try to come from a biblical aspect. So for first question, I said a reunion in the resurrection is real, but marriage as we know it now does not continue.
Right.
And so this is the scriptures I gave her. I say Jesus directly answered this situation. Jesus was asked the almost exact same question about a woman who had been married multiple times due to widowhood.
Mm-hmm.
And in Matthew 22, 23, and 30, you can find it in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Jesus explained the whole situation. In the resurrection, people neither marry nor are given into marriage. What a pub! Jesus! Sorry, y'all. That's our puppy. He acting.
Come on, man.
Rito just put some stuff in his ear and he going crazy. Resurrection life is different from earthly life. People are raised to live forever, no longer is subject to death when you die and go to heaven. Okay? So the key point of the whole thing was that earthly marriage exists for this life only, not when you pass away, not
Right.
when you're in heaven.
Right.
Okay? So marriage is temporary, resurrection life is eternal. This is what I told her. I say marriage serves different purposes while you're here: companionship, assignment, family, protection, ministry, all that stuff. And then we talked about how Paul was also teaching death ends the marriage bond. Now you can find in Romans where it says a married woman is bound by the law to her husband so long as he lives, but if the husband is dead, she is loose from the law of her husband, which means she can be remarried. This is why remarriage after a spouse death is biblically permitted. And then I go on. So yeah, unfortunately, when we, because you have to remember too, in the spirit, before Vito and I were actually married, he's my brother in Christ. So when we pass away, we're gonna be reunited as brothers and sisters in Christ. Mm-hmm. That's it. There's no marriages. There's no giving into marriage.
Right.
We're all the body of Christ, which means we are we're children of God. We are family.
Right.
It's like a family affair. It's not like, oh my God, Vito, my husband. Hey, it's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be in the spirit. The flesh will be gone, long gone. This vessel, this shell will be gone. The spirit will live with the Lord. Okay? I think, Butter Pump, you just all in the video. Jesus.
Go get on your bed. Go get on your bed, man.
I think it's that thing around his neck too, just make it sound so loud. So I hope that makes sense. Let me see. I think you said something. She said, I need to pray right now. I don't want to be tied to someone who can remarry if I was to die first. Understood.
She said, what up?
She needs to pray.
Why?
Because she don't want to be tied to someone who can remarry if she was to die first.
What that mean?
If she decides, if she dies 1st or if her husband dies first in the future, her future husband dies first, she can't bear the thought of him, or if she passed away, of him being remarried to someone. She ain't
gonna be thinking about that. She gonna be in heaven. See, people think that because what you are here, in your natural bodies is the way you're going to be in heaven. No, your thoughts are not even going to go in that direction. Because remember, your soul overtakes your fleshly body. Your spirit overtakes your fleshly body. You're you transition from out of the natural to the spiritual is a totally different level. Not only that, um, you don't think about those things when you are in the spirit form. You can't, because your mind will not go in that direction, because remember, you're not operating in your flesh anymore. You're in the spirit. So the spirit doesn't go in that direction of being tied to any natural thing. The spirit is not tied to any natural thing. What I mean by that is that it's not attached to it. Only when it is required to be attached in it, when you come on this earth through your mother's womb. So now you need, spirit, water, and blood is the main three things that the body has to have in order for it to live, to be alive, or considered as being a living soul. Like when God had breathed into the nostrils of Adam, he became a living soul. But when you go to heaven, or you come out of these natural bodies, you don't have those thoughts of what you're gonna do for tomorrow, your job, whether or not you got to go shopping, you got to go, have lunch. Your thoughts don't even, it won't even go in those directions like that. So you being married on this earth to someone in the natural, and then when you leave and go to heaven, you're not going to be thinking about that person being married to anybody, because the love that you have in your heart towards the person is going to be like a agape love, not a physical love, because you're going to be in the spirit form. Your body is going to, you're going to have a new body. You're going to be a celestial body, which is a heavenly body, and you're not going to be thinking about whether who your husband, who you once was married. I don't even know whether or not you're going to remember whether you had a husband or not. I'm not really sure. Only thing I do know this for sure, is that your thoughts are not going to be the same way that it is now, being that you are in your natural body. So you're not going to, have feelings like that, not in your body. Because you got to think about it. You're going to be in holiness. You're going to be in the presence of holiness. You're going to be in the presence of God Almighty. So by you doing that, being in the presence of God Almighty, you're not going to be thinking about who your husband's with. You're not going to be crying, because there's neither no crying nor pain, nothing like that in heaven. So you're not going to be crying. Your feelings is not going to be hurt, because you're not going to have your same mindset. The way you think here naturally on earth, it's not going to be that way in heaven. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Hopefully she's still
Yeah,
here.
she's probably thinking that she's going to be the same.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that way. They think that, hey, I'm going to be the same. I'm going to have the same. Nah, no, you're not. When you come out of these fleshly bodies, you're not. I don't know.
Thank you. She said, thank you, it does.
Okay.
Okay, good. Barry, I have a question for you.
All right.
Is attraction spiritual, emotional, or physical first? And does God care about the order? I have my answer. What do you think your answer is?
Say it one more time.
Okay. Is attraction spiritual, emotional, or physical first? So when you see somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and is it the attraction, what you see? Is it the physical aspect? Is it the emotions, or is it the spiritual?
It depends on where that person at individually.
Okay, and does God care about the order?
No.
I'm talking about you. I ain't talking about no people. I'm talking about Vito. For Vito, is attraction spiritual, emotional, or physical first? And does God care about the order?
In my immaturity, it would have been physical first.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at what you look like on the outside. I can care less about your heart.
That booty.
Right. I can care less about, I'm looking at your shape. I'm looking at your looks.
Your walk, your talk.
Walk, all that. I'm not looking at your heart, of your passion, of, what comes out. Because what comes out your mouth is going to tell you exactly what type of person that person really is.
And your actions.
Yeah. I mean, what comes out your mouth first,
Right.
But that's why I say it depends on the maturity level of that person at that moment.
If you're mature.
If you're mature, it's going to be spiritual.
Okay, why?
Because you have come to a maturity of understanding, and it's not what's on the outside of a person, but it's what they what it releases from the inside, which is in their heart.
Okay, think about when you and I met.
Hmm.
When you said it was physical,
It
emotional, and
wasn't physical, it
spiritual.
was spiritual.
So why wasn't it physical?
It wasn't physical because I didn't ever see your shape.
Hmm. Why you didn't see my shape?
Because you was covered up.
I was being modest.
You was respecting your body.
Ooh, that part. So when you say spiritual, explain, expound.
Spiritual, it comes from God first. So in my experience, it God had to be the one to tell me that you were my wife versus me trying to figure out if you were my wife.
So it wasn't a manipulation thing. It was
No,
God.
it was spiritual first. So the spiritual connection was God telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta understand, I had to first be broken in order for me to be able to accept it, receive it, and believe it.
Okay.
So before that, I wouldn't have been able to receive it, accept it, nor believe it, because I would have been thinking it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Because I would have been in my flesh, not broken.
Does God care about the order? Do you think God cares about the order?
Yeah, I think God has an order.
Okay. What do you think if you had to choose between emotional, physical, spiritual? What would be that?
Spiritual first.
And then next.
I think emotional.
Okay.
And then physical.
I agree. And the reason I say that is because when God dealt with me, when you talking about immaturity, when God, I won't say God, I can't say God because I was immature. I wasn't even consulting God first. So let's go from the immature to the mature. Mm-hmm. So when I was immature and attraction for a man, for me, it was the physical aspect. Just like it was like he was fine, he looked good. Oh my gosh, he was sexy. He had all the right features in all the right places. That's what I was looking at. That's what I was going after. And then it was more emotional. Okay, very emotional connection. There is a physical attraction because I think you find him sexy, but is there an emotional attraction when we start, connecting and start talking? There was never really a spiritual aspect. Never. Mm-hmm. And I do know people, they will see the physical first, they'll get connected second, and then they want God to bless.
Right.
They'll put it in that order. They will say physical, emotional, and then spiritual. Yeah. And that's totally backwards.
Because emotional always in the middle first.
Always in the middle. No matter what, is always in the middle. Either going to be spiritual, am I going to consult God first?
Right.
Or it's going to be physical. I'm going about it with my fleshly desires, right?
Your flesh is being led by your flesh, yeah.
When I met Vito, for those who don't know, when I met Vito, it was a spiritual aspect because I remember praying for God to send the one that he wanted me to be with.
That's spiritual right there.
It was not about what he looked like. Now, I did have a journal. Don't even play, don't even trip. I had a journal with all my physical aspects.
Well, you was immature too.
All my fleshly aspects.
Would you say you was immature?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Until God say, throw away all your lists. Now you become and now I want you to write my list. Mm-hmm. And his list was more spiritual than anything. And when God showed me Vito's heart, only God can show you a man's heart.
That's true.
Only God can show you a person's heart. That has nothing to do with the physical attraction because you can't see somebody's heart on the outside.
Nope.
So when God showed me his heart and when God told him, the woman I have for you I'm going to show her your heart. That's a spiritual aspect. And that's where you want to be.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa. That's where you always want to be. People want to do what they want to do and they want God to bless their mess after they have done their thing.
Right. That's why it's still an order.
It's order.
It's still an order.
And does God care? Absolutely. Because he wants to be the one that gets the glory out of your story, out of your marriage. Mm-hmm. God gets the glory out of this relationship no matter how you slice it. Mm-hmm. From the back, front, middle, God gets the glory. Good, bad, and ugly, God gets the glory. Mm-hmm. Because he's the one that orchestrated the entire thing. Vito didn't see my shape. I was modest. I covered myself. Even when I was, going out with him, when we went out, I made sure I looked modest. I didn't show my breasts and my thighs and all the chicken wings and the bootay. I didn't show all of
I
that.
said about 2 months before I saw your shape in jeans. I say 2 months or 3 months, something like that.
There you
You
go.
know, all the
There-
time you was wearing like a like cover up dress or something like that.
he hate moo to the day.
No, it wasn't that now.
I'm just saying, he don't
Yeah, I
like
see.
moo
Yeah,
but I'm just saying,
I don't like moo because they just not sexy for a wife.
don't play.
Yeah.
So definitely there is an order. There is a God's order. He wants to be the one to orchestrate. He wants to be the one that will get the glory out of the connection.
Mm-hmm.
But so many times we look at I have seen men in my past before I even met Vito who was very attractive, very sexy, had everything I wanted, but then they opened their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Or their personality, they're mean, they're selfish, they're aggressive. It was just a lot of things that, to me, have you ever seen someone you think they are the beautiful, you think they're beautiful or sexy or fine until you see how they act, until you see their personality? It's like all the attraction that you thought they had is gone. And then, or even the emotional aspect. Have you ever met someone who you could not emotionally connect yourself with? So a lot of times we do it backwards, man. You said it right. We do this thing backwards. I know many women who loves God, they love God, love the Lord, and they want God to be their matchmaker, but it's the physical first, emotional. God bless this mess, or bless this drama, or bless this relationship.
Physical, some of them get attached emotionally first, and then physical comes after that. It goes both ways on that. You're gonna get attached physical,
Yeah,
and then you get emotional attached after the physical.
Because some people get emotionally attached,
Yeah.
especially when they're lonely and they just want somebody
They
in
ain't
their
had no
life.
sexual intercourse or nothing yet.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's true.
They just got attached to emotionally. Then it leads to physical,
how they look.
right? Or it leads to physical, sexual,
Yeah.
like that.
I saw a movie. I cannot remember the name. I cannot remember the name, and I cannot remember her name, but she's a beautiful young lady. But you guys let me know if you remember this movie. She was talking to this guy. I mean, I think it was like maybe a year or so. She was talking to this guy. Every time they were supposed to see each other, either his Wi-Fi was down, his computer signal wasn't good. It was something always going on where they couldn't see each other. They met online, and she and well, I won't say I can't talk about him, but because they talked more about her, she said she fell in love with this man. Fell in love with someone she had never seen before because it was always an excuse or justification of why he could not get online. Do y'all remember that video? I mean that movie?
Harry met Sally.
No, no. And then she actually met this guy at a coffee shop. The guy at the coffee shop was she. He's the one that played. I think, if I'm not mistaken, what did he play on? Oh, I can't remember what he played on. But he's love God 48. She's thinking too. He was the owner of the coffee shop. He would always give her free coffee. Something fools, nobody's fool. Remember that, babe? When the crazy sister came out of jail and she had to go get him. What's the lady you say you don't like her because she
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish. She was in jail. And her sister, I forgot her name. Her sister had to come to get her out of jail.
I'm sorry, Tiffany, if you hear this. I didn't say I don't like you. I just say that you crazy.
And that you wasn't funny.
Yeah, I did say that.
Anyway, fast forward.
Don't feel bad.
Her ideal man wasn't the man in the coffee shop. Yes, he was cute, but she was in love with the man emotionally who she never met. And when she found out about the guy in the coffee shop, because he had a history, he had been in jail before. He was telling a story about how he was so immature, and of course he wasn't this distinguished guy who always wore suits or whatever. I think he was on.
Melissa agree with me. Thank you.
He had alcohol problem. So he had a bad background, been in prison before. He was alcoholic. He matured, got himself together, opened up his own shop. But all of that stuff, she didn't think he was attractive anymore. But yet, the man that she thought was the one, she fell in love with, quote unquote, fell in love with him over the phone. I remember that. I forgot about that movie. Good example. Thank you, Melissa. Yes. So that's how you can. That's the difference between someone being attracted physically to someone or emotionally to someone 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Add, babe.
I ain't gotta add that.
What about in your past when you've met women?
It was always physical.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So there's nobody you've ever met that was an emotional.
Not in my flesh, in my
connection
immaturity. No, ma'am.
I'm talking about not even spiritual. I'm talking about emotionally first.
No.
It was always
physical. It was always, she looked nice. She looked good on the outside. Okay. Let me see what she about.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So
her hair is definitely beautiful. She talking about cutting it. I told her she better not cut that.
I am talking about cutting my hair.
She better not cut that darn hair. I told her.
Anyway. Who said that? We gonna come back to the help. But
hey.
Thank you. Hey, chosen but not punished. Hey, beautiful. Hey, Bree. Is it Bree?
Be honest with you, chosen. When you chosen, sometimes you do get punished.
You know what? That's a video all by itself.
Well,
just your name.
Let me tell you.
Chosen.
When you chosen, you are marked. Ooh, boy, you a target.
Anyway, babe. So, what's some of the things that was a turnoff after you were attracted to them physically?
Say that one more time.
Okay. What was some of the things that were a turnoff?
Mm-hmm.
Although you was attracted to them physically,
mm-hmm.
what was the turnoff or the turning point? What was the things that they did, said that you were like, you know what? Never mind. I'm good.
One situation was her breath. She had some bad breath. Lord Jesus, she's the cutest thing though. Lord have mercy, she was cute as I don't know what.
Make sure I'm fine.
But her breath was stank. I mean, really, I thought it was just one time. But the more I talked to her, the more I was getting a whiff of that dragon. It was just making I had hair back then, so my hair was curling up. My nasal passages was going berserk. It was going through some bad interference or something right there.
Melissa, don't laugh at him.
Yeah. Back then, they didn't have the internet, but I sure felt like there was an internet in my nasal passages smelling her breath. Lord Jesus. I don't know what kind of Wi-Fi breath that was.
Like, okay, what else, babe?
She has a Wi-Fi breath.
What else, babe?
Wi-Fi. Way back then. 1982.
Can you move
But
on?
anyway,
what other things was okay,
the way she talked.
Okay. The way she
talked. Yeah, keep mints on you because you never know. The breath will be stank sometimes. You don't know.
If y'all known us from the beginning, y'all always know this is a spontaneous thing. I always have some.
Yeah. And my breath be stank too, so I ain't gonna sit up there and play like my breath don't be stank now.
Sometimes you need some freshness. Don't play.
Especially when you get a hungry breath. She was hungry all the time though. What that breath.
Babe.
But anyway, I would say the how she would speak, her attitude, personality, that's physical.
Mm.
Would you say that's physical? No, that's not physical.
No, I think that would be
that's
more
emotional.
Yeah. I don't think.
Okay. What was the other question? You asked me something else.
I said, what would be the turnoff after you see someone that they're attracted from the outside, but once you get to know them, what
personality.
Okay, so personality.
Personality, hygiene.
Hygiene. Okay, thank you. Hygiene, personality, what else? I'm going somewhere with this, so that's why I'm asking the question.
I think that's what I think.
Would you say maybe they're immature?
Too friendly.
What do you mean too friendly?
Too friendly.
They flirtatious with other people?
Very flirtatious.
Okay, so when they're flirtatious with other men?
Oh, they flirtatious with other men, then exactly what you think I'm thinking.
Okay, what about somebody?
Can't be trusted.
You told me about this some lady, some girl you said you went out with, and she did some things you didn't like. that you didn't believe in?
Oh yeah, deception, being sneaky,
Okay.
being
Okay.
sneaky, doing slick stuff,
Okay.
And they very if they comfortable doing slick stuff around you, then that means oh man,
Hmm.
when you're around them, they can care less.
It is funny that Shamara says this because these are people who supposedly were Christians. So she say
Well, see,
if they're not a
yeah,
Christian, it's a no go. So at this moment we are
yeah,
talking about people
yeah, because you want somebody on the same accord as you,
yeah,
who
spiritual.
believe in the same
Yeah.
thing as you do. Look at the people who are Muslims. They believe in Allah as their God, so they don't marry outside their beliefs. See, they do the same thing what Christians do.
So this is my thing.
Yeah.
This is my thing. Everything that Vito said, plus the things that I also believe or have seen in my history of relationships where I've met this guy, thought he was, cute, attractive, kind of find out he has a whole double life.
Mm,
He married with kids,
mm,
or you have someone who's cheating all the time, someone
mm,
who lie, someone who don't keep their commitment, someone who don't want to be committed.
mm,
It's just drama. Every time I went somewhere, it was always drama. Now he was fine, but every time it was like drama followed the fineness.
mm, mm, mm.
Drama followed him everywhere he went, and of course, I was in it because I was with him, right?
You a mess.
So think about all those things that could turn you off from someone who's very attractive.
Mm.
Do you not know that God knows all those attributes too before you even meet the person?
Yeah.
Don't you think that God, all-knowing God, already know that this man is a cheater, that man is a liar, that man is a manipulator,
Yeah.
that woman is a bad breath, whatever, non-hygiene person? God knows everything about everybody. He created us. He know there's nothing we can do that could hide from him.
Right.
So why not give our relationships to him? Let him take care of the hookups,
Nah.
and we wouldn't have any issues, any drama when it comes to relationships. Because even though if the drama came, not drama, if I would say if challenges came, is that a good word, babe? Say?
Yeah, challenge.
If challenges come, you will be able to handle it. Why? Because God knows what you can handle. He's not going to connect you with someone that you cannot handle each other, especially as you grow. And I think we talked about this before. That you're supposed to be.
I'm with you, baby.
No, you're not. You watching TV.
No, I'm with you. No.
That's being rude.
No. I'm put it down. Go ahead, do your thing.
We on live, y'all, and he watching.
No, I was just I'm looking at something. Do it. Why you let that break
I
your
don't
concentration?
even know what I was saying.
You said challenges. That's why
when there's challenges in the relationship, when God is the one that orchestrates the relationship, understand that you will be able to deal with those challenges as they come. You know what you can and cannot handle. He knows what you cannot handle. But he knows better. I think somebody said something else. Let me see. I've been surprised at the number of atheists and agnostic men I've met recently. I didn't realize so many black men are not believers. Okay, so let's talk about race for a minute. Does it matter his color? Does
you gotta scratch my back right here? Scratch that right there.
Does it matter the race of a person when you're talking about relationships or dating, courtship? Because a lot of people, they limit God because they put God in a box.
Okay. She said no.
Okay. I was just asking because you made mention of many blacks who are not, believers. And it's a lot of people who are not believers. They just happen to be a different color.
She said she's preferred to date a black man. Okay.
So what if I challenge you?
Challenge her
to say, God, let your will be done.
Okay, what's her name, babe? Before you challenge her, let's go get this right.
Shemaya.
Girl, when you come up with that long darn name,
I'm trying to be cute, y'all, so I ain't got my glasses on. So Shemaya Yahili.
Shemaya Yahili. Shemaya Yahila. Shamariyahala. Shamariyahala.
So listen, I know some of y'all may be new who's watching this. I had my preferences too. Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
I did. And until God, oh, I tried. I don't butcher your name, I know.
Oh,
Shamaraya. Is that right?
Shamaria.
Shamaria.
Okay.
I remember I had my preferences too. Tall, bald head, muscular, athletic. I had the preferences.
Hey, I got all that then.
And
I'm tall, I'm bald headed, and I'm muscular.
you are not
and
tall.
I'm athletic.
Lie, and lie.
Lie.
You got the bald head, babe.
And I'm athletic. I just don't use it.
Be honest.
I go walking sometimes.
He said, anyway, until God spoke to me and visited me in the spirit, right? God was like, until you let go of your will, how can my will be done in your life?
At least I'm taller than you. You didn't say how tall, but I am taller than you. So that's another one. Give it to me.
I like him. I want to be able to look up like
you
this.
do look up at me. If you look up at me
when I don't have my heels on.
Well, exactly. So you look up at me, right?
Anyway.
Excuse
me.
me.
So we have to get to the point
where
we let go.
Am I taller than you? Do you have to look up at me? Tell the people. Shame the devil. Tell the people.
Only when I have
my... That doesn't matter. We're talking about flat-footed. Do you have to look up at me? But still,
y'all stop look up at me. Y'all stop laughing at him.
Do you have to look up at me? All right, so that's another one. So that's 3 things he gave you: bald, taller than you, and what's the other one?
Athletic.
I run, I jump, I do everything.
You lie.
I do. What are you talking about?
When?
I'm athletic. If you tell me to go run down the street, I'll go with it. That's being athletic. Tell me about. At least I don't walk like that.
Anyway, as I was talking to my girl,
God gave you everything. You just can't see.
I had this, and that is so true. So listen, to your point, a lot of times we have our list, but we have our mindset on what that list and how it's supposed to look. We present that list to God, and God be like,
head up. No good.
Let's start over. Start from scratch. And I realized, yes, I had a list, but at the end of the day, it was not my will. Let thy will be done. When he did that, everything he is not only what I needed, it's what I asked for. He's taller than me.
Yes.
But I did want him taller.
But you got to look up.
He athletic in his own way.
I'm athletic. Then I used to run with you. We used to go jogging a lot. That's not being athletic. Did I not go to Fontaine and do a workout session?
Yeah, you did.
All right, then. Is that not being athletic?
He's loving. He's kind.
Am I bald headed?
He got the bald head.
All right, then.
He's sexy.
All right. You call me sexy. All right, then.
Because you are sexy.
God gave you everything. Here I am.
Even when I was in the hospital on my dying bed, he was beside me. He was my advocate. He was my voice. He was my everything. Everything I needed, he was my rock. God put everything in him that I needed, because no one knew in December 2024 I was going to need a man like him, but God. So it's the little things like that a lot of people do not think about. They think about the right now. They think about the present situation. They think about the present attraction, not understanding I'm not 130 pounds anymore. Is he still going to love me at the 100 and blah, 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 I don't even say, when I gain weight? Some men will leave their woman when they gain weight, when they're in the hospital. I've heard of people leaving their spouse on their deathbed in the hospital, cheating on them, leaving them for another woman. I hear the stories. So when you give it to God, God knows what you need now and in the future. Hollywood will tell you something different. The world will tell you something different. This is why we don't really come on YouTube a lot, because we're not allowed to speak outside of what everybody else is saying. So they censor us, they shut us up, they suppress us. But we just, all we know is the truth. All we know is what God has taught us through the Holy Spirit, through our experience.
Yeah.
The process life. Your life is always in a process. If you get it too fast, what are you learning? Even God was the example. 7 days he created when he could have did it in one day. So when it comes to relationship, it's the same thing. It's a process.
I love God. She had like, what that for? Oh, she didn't know you in the hospital?
I don't know. Why you say why I love God exactly, and we don't know if
No, I'm talking about the love God.
yeah, I saw that.
4821.
Yeah, I see. She say wow. Now that's the truth. He knows what we actually need. Exactly. And then he'll sprinkle in some of our wants. Because he just a loving God like that. And we don't know if six what I say? If 6FO can do that? What that mean?
I don't know, 6 feet? 6 feet?
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
You're right. I don't know how many times I have been unsubscribed and I still don't get notifications. Y'all listen. Click that subscribe. It may or may not work. Just check your subscription. Make sure you get notifications if we do come on like we did spontaneously today. Um, please hit that like button. I was saying we don't know if a 6'4" dude
Oh, 6'4". 6'4".
can do that. Oh, 6'4", yeah. So when you're going after the attraction, the physical, can that physical sustain or be there for you when you really meet that person?
She said 6'4".
6'4".
That's y'all language. That's how y'all speak. What going
FO.
on?
So just think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
If it's not spiritual, and many people will not listen to this type of because they want to do they want to do what they want to do when they want to do it. They want that man who has somebody else, who's married to somebody else. Been there, done that. Didn't work. Babe, what you think? That flesh want what the flesh want.
It does.
Until we give it to
You know,
God.
and that's when old Saul was talking about. You have to war. You war with this flesh daily. You you war with this flesh daily to fight your will and accept God's will. Because God still don't force you to accept His will. There still have to be a love in your heart towards God for you to even want to put down your will and say, "I don't want this because I know God is not pleased with this."
My baby, he had his preference too
You my preference. What are you talking about?
before me.
You my preference. I just didn't know that was you. What are you talking about?
So before the maturity, the spiritual maturity, he had his preference.
What my preference?
You ain't want nobody that was healthy, fit.
What?
I
Say,
ain't
say
wanna,
the real deal. Say it. Say it loud.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Well, I mean, I didn't want nobody who was obese and unhealthy.
Overweight.
Yeah, overweight and unhealthy. You know, that's all.
But
That's all
then
it
you was
was.
like, okay, God, I don't even care.
Yeah, she could have been like big as a house. I wouldn't care.
It has to
That
get
was
to the
my maturity. Like, okay, God, I'm yielding to your will or whatever it is. Whoever
and a
it
lot
is,
of
you
people
know.
will not do that. They're not going to say.
I mean, I was at that point where I was like, that's when a man is broken. He's broken to the point where he's just like, listen, I have done it my way for so long. I have made decisions without consulting God. I made decisions when before I made the decision, I consulted God and didn't wait on God.
Mm.
I mean, I did it all. Everything that a man, you know, or not just a man, but anybody who's what's the word I'm trying to use? Every human being that is being controlled by their own will to do what they want to do is an immaturity person. Immature until you start, you know, wanting to really know what God will is.
Mm-hmm.
And not only know what his will is, but you're willing to yield to what his will is for you. That's when you start to come into a maturity of understanding when Jesus said, not my will, but thine will.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, it starts there. Once it starts there, as you continue with your relationship, that's what you're going to be thinking about. Okay, God, not my will, but your will now. Since I see that you really do care about me. You really have my best interests at heart. You really do love me. Because if you think about it, a lot of us, we don't know that God truly loves us. We were told that. We hear this the cliche that God loved you first is why you should love him. But in actuality, you really don't know what true love is until God introduces himself to you and show you what true love really is.
That's Mel F.
What?
She said, I don't know why my name is showing up like that. It's Mel F. Just for FYI. Hey, Mel.
Girl, I'm finna say something. I'm finna say that F word,
Who?
girl.
It was Melissa.
Girl, you said Melissa who? That's your real name, Mel F. Melissa? Lord have mercy.
She was wondering what made them. Okay, babe, it was a young lady that emailed us. He don't get the emails, I get the emails. And she was talking about how she had been in this relationship going back and forth with this dude, right? And she was like, I need some help. What should I do? And the first thing I asked her was, did you consult God first? People will not ask you that question. Like, you're going through all of this, y'all breaking up, you're getting back together, you're breaking up, getting back together. And this is over however long. But my question is, did you consult God? Do you think God would keep his will from you? If you ask and you really want to know, now, wait a minute, don't get it twisted. God also know your heart. And he also know if it's just you just saying words out of your mouth, or is it a heart thing? So when you're asking God, I am willing to wait for the one you have for me. Is this man the one? Every date I went on prior to Vito, prior to God telling me to stop dating, I asked God first, God, it's my husband. Am I wasting my time, my energy, and all that emotions? I don't want to get attached to nobody. Is he the one? I promise you guys, the day that we went out, he told me he ain't the one. I was done. Thank you, Lord. I kept it moving. There was people who came to me and said, listen, he is not the one for you. Thank you, Lord. Because I don't care how the answer came.
I ain't had nobody telling me that. I had to find out the hard way.
Really?
Yeah.
But were you
had to find out the hard way? It wasn't nobody telling me.
Were you at a were you at a place in your life where people was able to talk to you? To approach you?
I didn't have nobody in my life that they can talk to me.
Were you on the
I didn't have nobody in my life that can talk to me.
Nobody.
They themselves was immature.
Go.
They didn't know.
They was doing the same thing
you were doing. The same thing I was doing.
So you got all you had was God. I mean, that's all you can depend on.
Yeah, he was. That's why my experience was not with nobody saying, "Man, listen, bro, you need to slow down. You need to." When God Himself tapped me on the shoulder, I know what it feels like when God tapped you on the shoulder. But He didn't do that until I was yielding, until I was broken. When I was broken, now, and I'm broken meaning that I was frustrated, discouraged, because I know that why does I keep making these mistakes? So that thing bothered me. So God can really feel when you're in pain.
Yeah.
Emotionally, God knows when you're in pain. He can feel it. He feels it. He knows when you're frustrated, discouraged, you want answers, you're crying out, all of this and that. God can feel that thing. His ears is open to the cries of the righteous of His people.
Yeah. So
when God hears that, and you give Him that certain cry that really makes Him stand on that throne. That's a father. He said, he really mean it. He really mean it. Now, okay, all right, so now let me talk to him. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't have nobody to, say, hey, and God deals with everybody differently, Maybe God did, have some people and God, don't say nothing, just pray for them. Maybe God did put that into the hearts of some people who were around me that I didn't even know that they saw the direction I was going.
Do you believe God knows if you're ready to even receive?
Yeah, because God don't waste His time.
Right.
One thing about God can't fail. So if you ain't ready to receive, that ain't gonna stop God now. Because remember, He still has to sow a seed. Then He also has to send somebody to water it. and then he allows that to germinate in your spirit until the time he's ready. Or, or he can immediately, if he want to, interject his presence in your life, interject his presence, you know, and next thing you know, guess what? You're hearing from God. You're having a testimony like, I heard his voice. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But some people, they may have not heard his voice like that. They may have heard his voice through other people, you know. But yeah, God don't waste his time because God can't fail. He can't fail.
Absolutely not. So I just want to come up here first of all to say hi. It's been a minute. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Rito been doing his thing with music. I just been doing homeschool and recovering, and I'm ready to get out there and do something. He won't let me. He like, okay,
God ain't letting her yet.
Nope, he won't let me. So I have to be obedient.
Evidently, she ain't ready. She ain't ready.
What that mean?
I said, evidently, she ain't ready.
What you mean ready?
I don't know, whatever it is God is saying, you ain't ready. Because if that be the case, you'd be moving out there, wouldn't you?
I don't know what that means, but anyway.
I'm just telling you what, hey, it's just like anything else. When you're not ready for something, and God know you ain't, God ain't going to send you out there.
I think I'm ready. That's the problem. I think I'm ready.
Yeah, that's the problem. Who they talking? Your will, your fleshly will?
Yeah, it's the flesh.
Okay.
Ain't gonna even lie. Any questions you guys have for us before we go? You know, it's no telling when y'all gonna see us again. But I know some people probably had questions like, damn, they probably, you know how the enemy start whispering, they probably ain't even together. They probably not even, you know, mad anymore. They having issues. No, it's just like we told y'all before. If God don't give us anything, we're not gonna do anything. Vito has been doing his music, and I just been waiting on him. It's been waiting, y'all. Wow, I didn't realize you guys are such a beautiful couple. I always listen to your videos and not watch. Really? You listen like on Spotify? On our podcast?
She said YY 4803.
I love that.
Why is YY 4803?
Why? Any questions?
That's a song.
Any questions you have for them, babe? You miss them? Do you miss them?
I do miss interacting with you guys.
He don't miss YouTube. He don't. But we love you guys.
I do miss the time that you, all of us, kind of like, you know, share things with each other and just kind of, you know, impart or share some things that what we've gone through. And yeah, I miss that. But I do know that, you know, a lot of times, I think I'm at that point of when God really puts something in you to do, and you are a child of His or a one who's chosen for the assignment. You're gonna get it done, because He's not gonna allow you to be at peace until you obey what He tells you to do, and He knows who needs to hear what at the right time. Like, we didn't know who was gonna go. I didn't know she wanted to go live until after I finished the music. I just came in here. And she was like, I'm going to go live.
I was going to go live by myself. And I was like, no, because the original Process Life was a his and hers perspective. And coming on by myself, I feel like, and nothing about me, and I'm not self-conscious about it. I just feel like when we first started, it was about his and hers. A woman's perspective and a man's perspective. That's what you guys subscribe to. So, and I get it. I hate when I subscribe to a video and a channel, and then they giving me something totally different from what I subscribe. So I understand, I get it. I thank you guys for being here, but I really wanted to say hi. I had a birthday in November. I wanted to come on then, but I was like, I didn't feel like doing anything but relaxing. Vito, his birthday is Tuesday. And I was like, we need to do something to let you guys know we're here. We're thinking about you. I'm praying for you. I don't know if Vito praying for you. I can't speak for him. But for me, I'm definitely praying for you guys. Even if I don't see you, we still communicate on the YouTube posts. When I do send out messages, you guys are, you know, communicating with me. So we just want to do.
I'm glad somebody praying for y'all, because I don't be praying. I'm telling you right now. Sometimes I just don't even know what the heck to pray for. I be trying to get myself together. Like, Jesus.
I've been focusing on my journals, creating journals, getting them out there, getting them in the hands and the houses of many people. So that's what I've been doing on that side. But I definitely want to say hi, see our face.
It's good to have both of you. Funny thing, God has been sending me to your videos from 6 years ago. Oh wow.
Who was that?
Why?
Hey,
Why?
really? You've been on here 6 years ago?
No,
Have you changed?
sending me to your videos from 6 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
So recently, God been sending her to our videos that has been posted 6 years ago. That's what she's saying.
And guess what? When it's the truth,
Truth never dies.
It never dies. So it don't matter if you come back 20 years from now.
They're gonna be out there.
And if I don't delete the channel, it'll still be out there for people to see. Mm-hmm. And everything that we've said 6 years ago, we would say today.
Yeah.
We wouldn't change anything. Mm-hmm. Only thing that changes is our spiritual maturity about certain things.
Yeah.
God will give us revelations about certain things that may be different, even in our marriage. Mm-hmm. We've had lessons in our marriage we've had to learn.
Especially Vito.
We had some expectations on marriage that was not right. So, and to be very transparent, I thought being a helpmeet means helping my husband whenever he needs help. I didn't know a helpmeet is going to God first, just like with the relationship, because you have a relationship with God, going to God first and saying, God, what would you have me to help my husband with?
It's just that simple.
We're not taught that. We're just thinking, let me just do what I'm supposed to do to help. Because I see where you want to help. I see the need, I'm gonna meet it. I see a lacking, I'm gonna step in. And God said, no, you don't be stepping in because you stepping in the way. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to show Vito something and you all in the way. Mm-hmm. I didn't tell you to go over there. Stay behind over here.
Your husband has to know where his areas of flaws is and what he's doing wrong. Yeah.
So that was one thing we had to learn. Help me is going to God first. Help me means to meet God first and ask him where he will have me to help him. Help meet. And so I've learned that through the Holy Spirit, through experience of, okay, Marshall, there's times when God's going to say, yeah, help your husband in this area. Okay, don't do it this time. Help your husband in this area. Don't do it this time. So we have to be very in tune with the voice of God to know where he wants you to be, especially those who you really desire to be married. That's one thing I want you guys to take away. Your thoughts of what marriage is supposed to be. Get it out your head. Even when God connects you, your marriage is not going to be perfect. Get it out your head. Mm-hmm. Am I right, babe? Absolutely. Why? Because he's putting two imperfect people together. Now imagine a perfect God putting two imperfect people together.
Oh, that's a setup for his glory.
That's a setup for his glory. You can't have two imperfect people being set up by the flesh. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to last. But when the perfection connects the imperfection.
Come on now. Come on, sister girl. Come on now.
God will always get the glory.
Nah. Read.
I have learned, even through my husband, I have learned, and I'm still the devil's advocate on this bed. Still. And I've been trying to defend the men.
Can't defend the men.
A long time. So while I have y'all here, listen. Vito has this thing where it's always the man's fault.
Yeah.
I know if men are listening, you probably won't say, I don't want to hear that. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm always trying to defend the man. Well, babe, what happens if a woman goes out and cheat? I'm just using this as an example, y'all. He said it's the man's fault. But the woman is the one cheating. He says it's the man's fault. But babe, so I have to come to, okay, God, what is this man?
She's still trying.
Telling me when he's saying I, as a wife, can go out there and cheat, but at the end of the day,
you say you can go out there and cheat.
No, I'm saying if I go out there and cheat, you're saying at the end of the day, it's your fault.
Yep.
Women, let me school you for a minute. When a
Now
woman,
you got to make
not
sure
me,
you tell them.
I'm,
You
be
know
quiet.
how
I'm
you know how the women when they start hearing that's right, child. That's right.
I'm gonna put it in perspective. Woman, female, the female perspective.
Okay.
I understand what he means. We already got people that's clicking on.
They clicking on?
Yeah, clicking on and off. I understand what he means, but women, it doesn't mean you go out and cheat.
Right.
It just means that when someone does, it's always because of the man or the husband in that woman's life.
Mm-hmm.
The real reasons that women cheat, put it in the chat. Why do we cheat?
Yeah, please.
I don't cheat. I'm saying,
get them opportunity.
okay,
now.
I don't cheat.
Give them an opportunity.
And I will not cheat.
My church.
But I'm
your
saying,
church.
why will some women
Go out and cheat.
go out and cheat
Please
on
put
their,
that in comment
on
right
their
now.
husband? I'm talking about married women. I'm not talking about people.
Y'all type it right now. Now we're gonna give you some time.
You have
You
heard.
gotta give them time.
I
You
am.
too fast.
I
You
am.
go fast, baby.
I-
You
why-
better get this thing burning your time.
I don't want to be paused in the middle. I'm just trying to talk while they're
because
they're trifling. Okay.
okay.
They're trifling.
Okay, why they trifling?
Give me some emotional reasons.
Yeah.
Because people don't just cheat because they're trifling.
Right.
They can do something
Yeah.
else. They can hit a man.
Yeah, right.
Why
People
are they
cheat
going
'cause
to
they have
another
bad character? No excuse.
Why would a woman go to another man's
Right.
bed? Can I say that?
Right.
Another woman's bed
Yeah.
when she already have a bed with a man.
Yeah.
She says they lack integrity.
Okay. What else?
They don't know why women cheat, okay? People cheat because they have had character.
Maybe lack of affection.
Okay? Now we're getting somewhere. Lack of
Okay.
affection,
Right.
lack of ability to communicate their emotional needs. Okay. They don't get the attention at home. All right,
Okay.
we're getting somewhere.
Now you're getting somewhere.
There we go. Keep going. Thank you, Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all listen, I'm trying to be cute. So
Listen. Okay. Okay, what else, y'all? Come on.
Attention. If the man neglects his woman emotionally and abuses her, and the other man offers a listening ear.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay, there you
Here
go.
we go.
All right, hold on. Can I say this, babe?
Yeah, babe.
Why did Eve leave?
Why did Eve leave?
Why did Eve leave and Adam left her all alone by herself to give the serpent the opportunity to deceive her?
The serpent gave
What
her some
happened?
attention.
Where was Adam?
Nowhere to be found. He wasn't with Eve. He was tending to work.
All right. They say they don't feel valued. Okay.
If a man neglects his woman's emotional and abuses her, and other man offers a listening, okay.
Okay.
Cheat. Some people cheat back. Some cheat back. Okay.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Deborah. What's up? What's up? We're asking questions on why do you think women cheat? No excuse.
Why did Adam
why?
leave Eve alone?
They feel unsafe.
Feel unsafe.
Okay.
Okay.
Did someone say? We don't know.
Maybe both should be closer to God.
Okay.
Okay.
Lack of attention.
You can be close to God all you want to. Sometimes some people still cheat.
A man is a woman's covering. When he removes that cover, she is vulnerable.
Okay. Did Adam do that with Eve?
Absolutely. Quarantine diary.
Very good.
Can I speak now?
Now go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Everything you guys said. Honestly, some women are just true. So we're talking in general. We're not saying
Right. We're not talking about the trifling women.
Yeah, we're not talking about everybody cheating.
We're talking about a woman who's a good woman.
Yeah, and she goes out and cheat on her.
She out of the blue. She just
out of character.
Yeah, out of character. At that moment, she went out and cheated.
Yeah.
There's a reason why.
So, and it goes back to the man not giving the attention. The man, she doesn't feel valued. She doesn't have a voice. Abuse, affection, lack of. Everything that you guys said, some people lust after someone else mate. True. A lot of these things happen.
It has to start.
It starts from the root, which is Vito, which is the husband, right?
The husband is,
but it does not negate the consequences that's going to come
Right.
with her cheating.
Right.
She's going to suffer consequences. Now
Right.
she's not going to get away.
Right.
She
She's not gonna get
can't
away with that.
escape
Right.
from the consequences of God.
Absolutely.
That ain't gonna happen, because if that was the case, then we wouldn't be having cycles around here, because it would be
Right.
it would be Adam's fault that she was left alone
Absolutely.
in the garden when
Yep.
she ate the fruit.
Yep.
Today we have cycles because of that situation, right? So it does not excuse the woman. It does not excuse her from the consequences of cheating, but the majority of the time, the reason for that is because of what's happening at the house.
Yes.
The man,
Yeah.
right? Let me ask you this, babe. What if the man goes out and cheat? Is it the woman's fault? Or is it still the man's
No,
fault?
it's still the man's fault.
Now, okay. Now that's double standard.
It's still the man's fault.
How?
Okay.
Because a woman can also not give the
A
man
man
attention.
by God is required to be the head. He is required to lead by example. He is required to set the temperature in the home. He is required. God has appointed him to be the leader. All right? It is his responsibility to set the temperature in the home. It is his responsibility to make sure he cares for his wife. It is his responsibility to make sure he covers his wife. He goes out and starts to do the cheating himself. All right?
But
it is still his fault, because he is the one that is going out, going to cheat and being unfaithful when God has already gifted him with the wife that he has blessed him with.
But I could say the same thing if a woman goes out there and cheat.
It's the man's fault, because the man is the one. First of all, let me.
Now y'all can see where we go back.
No, because I'm gonna clear this up. First of all, did God choose her for him?
Did God choose her for
Yes.
him? Yes.
Okay, so if
God
chose
chose Eve for Adam.
No, we ain't talking about that. Okay, let's just.
Yeah, that's the foundation. What you mean?
No. Let's talk about you and I. If I was to go out and cheat on you, not only have I disobeyed God, but I have brought shame to my relationship with God, shame to my relationship in marriage. I have broke a covenant, right? Also, I have opened up the door. That means there's something called a cause and the effect. So when I sow the seed of that, I have already brought the cause of the effect of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've already brought the circumstances, right?
I agree.
It is my doggone fault.
I agree.
If she goes out and cheat, she's going off of her emotions of why she's doing what she's doing. A man cheats differently from what a woman does.
So let's say if a woman disrespects a man.
In what way?
In every way.
Okay.
If a woman, she belittles him.
Okay.
She calls him out his name.
Okay.
In public, she doesn't respect him in public.
Okay.
She doesn't respect him as being a leader, as being the head of the house.
Okay.
None of that.
Okay.
She dominates. She abuses.
Right.
You don't think that will?
That was his fault.
How is that his fault?
Because he the one chosen. Because God would have never given her to him if she was the way that she is.
Did y'all catch that?
Because God cannot fail.
So we did this role play. Go ahead.
When God connects, you got to remember, when God connects, there's still a responsibility that both individuals are supposed to take place in their spirit and their relationship with God first.
That's true.
When you and I got married, before we got married, there was a responsibility that God told me what I must do and what I must not do.
Mm-hmm.
This is before we even said I do.
Right.
When God had you by himself, there are things that God was dealing with you about. Some things he didn't even reveal to you until 16 years later.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it don't give them, neither one of them, don't get me wrong, it don't give them a right to cheat. Right. Because it's going to be that person's fault. Right. But if she's doing all what she's doing to him, then I would ask him a question. How did y'all get connected?
Exactly.
Because the God that I know, from my experience, I can't see one thing about I love this. I can live on my experience. Mm-hmm. And what I'm speaking about, I'm speaking about for personal experience, not because of what somebody told me, not because of what I've heard or what I read. No, this is personal experience. So if God, if he's going through what he's going through, it's his fault because he's the one that chose her. You cannot tell me that God chose her for him because God loves him just like he loves her. And God will not put two people together unequally yoked. If she has a problem with abusing, that means that
even in the spirit.
yes,
Okay.
well, yeah, because remember, you said that if she abusing him, she's belittling him, she's disrespecting him. That means that there's a healing in her spirit that has to take place before God would even connect her with any man. Because when God chooses the woman to be the wife to help me to the husband, she's going to be respectful. She's going to be kind to him. She's going to know how to conduct herself. She's going to carry herself, and she's going to respect his position as a husband. Mm-hmm. She's going to know how to talk to him. She's not going to belittle him. She knows that her words can hurt him more than anything. And she also will know, based on her relationship with God, she knows the responsibility of what a wife brings to a marriage. Why? Because she read it when Adam was away and Eve was playing with that darn fruit on that tree and how vulnerable she was. So she understands the importance of being mindful and careful. Because she can be what? The very one who the enemy wants to use to bring down the whole household. And if he's mature enough, he's going to know that he also can be vulnerable for temptation, messing up the whole marriage and the structure of the marriage, all based on his sins.
Someone says that would mean no one would get together because marriage is for growth. That's not what we're saying. We're saying is it's very important that God is the one that connects two people together.
Yep.
When God connects them together, they will grow.
Yep.
Even in their imperfections, they're going to grow.
Yep.
It's when the flesh hooks you up, you're going to have suffering.
Right.
Do you hear what I said?
Suffering. Right.
Not challenges.
Right.
You're going to have suffering.
Right.
It will not last. You cannot grow together because one person is going one way, the other person is going another way because it is divided. I told you earlier, when a perfect God put two imperfect people together, he gets the glory. Think about what I just said. Why would a perfect God put two imperfect people together? There's no one perfect.
Right.
So honestly, there would be, if we were going by what you're saying, there would be no marriages because then God would try to find perfect couples to put together. There's no way because there's nobody that's perfect, right? But if a perfect God knows the imperfections that we have, those imperfections come together in matrimony in unison, so that who can get the whole point of him connecting two imperfect people is so that he can get the glory.
Right.
How can he get the glory? Through the growth.
Right.
Through the process.
Right.
Through the challenges.
Yep.
See, sometimes we get we mistaken the perfect God connecting two imperfect people together to flesh connecting two imperfect people. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
When the flesh connects two people that's imperfect, it would never grow.
Nope.
So yes, throw it out because it would never get God's glory. Mm-hmm. But when God, the perfect God, can put two imperfect people together, and we allow it, we have to be allowed. We have to allow God to do that. Because God is not going to force his will.
Yeah, you still have to yield to his will.
Right? Yeah. So when it is being allowed, a lot of times we don't allow God to do it because we want the flesh to do it. Right. We think we know it all. We think, we know exactly what we want, what we need, not understanding the Marshall 16 years ago is not the same Marshall today. Right. The Vito 16 years ago is not the same Vito today. Yeah. So God knows today, he knows yesterday, and he knows in the future how we're going to be, how we're going to grow, how we're going to evolve. So when he put these people together, imperfections together, he knows in our evolving, in our growing, in our changing, in everything in us need to evolve and grow.
And it will.
But when you're with the wrong person,
You can't grow. Not like that.
no, baby doll, there's no growth. You're right. There will not be growth.
There won't be no growth.
I hope.
There
So
will be some pain and frustration and
right.
discouragement. Only growing is going to be is that I can't do that again.
Exactly.
I can't go down that road again.
Right. When we allow God to do it, that's what we're talking about. You don't have to worry about the cheating.
No.
There's other things you have to worry about, but stuff like that would tear you down like that.
Yeah.
And even, let's say it wasn't cheating. Let's say it's aggressive, being aggressive, or abuse, or mean. Those type of things, God can deal with the man who
He can break him out of that.
He can break him.
Yeah.
If God is the one that put it together, you don't think he's going to deal with that person who needs healing, who needs help in that area of weakness? There was things that God had to deal with me. I wasn't perfect when I came into this marriage. There was issues that I had. Being independent, I can do it myself. All these things, righteousness, thinking I had it all together. And God had to deal with me. He had to break me to humble me. Same thing with V. There was things in his life he had to face. He had to work on. We had to go to counseling. Let the truth be told.
Yeah.
So don't think because God put you together, you don't need to change or grow.
Absolutely.
In our marriage, even going to counseling brought God the glory.
That's right.
Why? Because we still together.
That's right.
We still here. We're stronger than ever. We're better. We understand each other. I understand why he was the way he was. We understand family background. We understand the healing. The history. We understand the history. We understand the
seeds that had been sown.
The generational curses.
You never knew that you were acting out those seeds that were sown.
So those things God knew we would be able to handle. Because why? He's the one that connected it.
Yep. I always say when God connects something, he is obligated to keep it. But it is your job to maintain it. You have to maintenance it.
Exactly.
You have to maintenance it. You have to
water it.
You got to water it. You got to feed it. You got to tune it up. It's your job
and
to do that.
And it's come to a point now. Vito and I, we know each other he know me to the T. I know him to the T. He knows. Okay, let me stop and give my woman some attention. Or I'm like, I had enough attention, babe. Go do what you gotta do. It gets to that point in the marriage where you know each other's heart, and you respect each other, you love each other, you're there for each other, and you meet the need. But there's some needs in you that your spouse would never meet, that could never meet. Why would God put y'all together and you never need God? Yeah. There's some things Vito can't help me with. No. There's some things I can't help him with. Why? Because we have to keep God in the center.
That's right.
That's what that means. When we put God in the center, it's realizing your spouse is not going to meet and cannot and doesn't have the capacity to meet every single one of your needs. Because if that was the case, what would you need God for? God is not hooking you up to wean you off of him. Yeah. He's hooking you up for the glory, for his glory. Because he loves us so much. And he's a jealous God. He's not going to put you with somebody that's going to make you forget about God. If anything, it should bring you closer to God, if anything. If it drives you away from God, you have to ask yourself, is this really God or is this my flesh? Because only the flesh drives you away from God.
Well, nobody's ready for a spouse. Why?
She said, my. I thought I was ready for a spouse. I guess not. I still need some more growing. Trust me.
You're gonna be able to grow. You still.
You are not gonna be perfect. And even when I thought I was ready, I was not. Right? When I felt like, God, you know what? I'm okay. I'm content where I am, that's when he sent Vito.
Yeah.
It's the crazy. God's ways and thoughts are not like
God is
ours.
totally opposite.
When you think you got,
When you think you need to,
when you think
yeah.
you have come to a realization of what it is that God is doing and thinking, you still don't know.
Yep.
I remember this movie. I love dancing movies, stepping movies. Remember the movie You Got Served? And Chris Brown got killed in the beginning, and Columbus Short was his brother.
No, that's not You Got Served. That was
Stump the Yard. I'm sorry, Stump the Yard,
yeah,
right?
Stump the Yard.
And his brother would always say, we're a team or something like that. It's not, he says, it's not about you. It's not always about you. We're a team, right? So Columbus thinking, okay, when he started, he went to college and he got into this step group and they had a little issue with the dance and all that. He wanted to dance instead of step. He didn't put no step. And the guy said the same thing his brother said that was played by Chris Rock. He says, it's not always, Chris Brown. Sorry, Chris Brown. He said, man, it's not always about you. We're a team. So I'm like, Columbus, like, he confused. It was around the end. And so here go Columbus, he being all humble. He's like, no, man, this is your thing. You go out there. And then the leader say, no, it ain't about you. We're a team. We need you. I know he was confused, like, dang, I thought I had it. Now I don't have it. I thought it wasn't about me. And then that thing, it's supposed to be about everybody else. And then God needed him, or they needed him rather. But in spiritual perspective, that's what I'm talking about. When we think we understand God and how he operates, we don't understand God and how he operates.
No.
When we think we got together, we don't understand nothing.
No.
Only thing we have to do is trust God.
Yeah.
Trust him. Only God knows when you're ready. Let it go and let God. That's all I could say. In my experiences, God is and has perfected me to be more like him. God has also shown me more about how he feels about me through my relationship with my kiddos. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great example. Mm-hmm. First, natural then spiritual. God has shown me a lot through my child. Mm-hmm. He showed me where I was lack of patience, compassion, affection, attention, you name it. Everything I had issues with people doing for me, I was doing the same thing to her. God dealt with me about that. Now she's priority. Now I give her attention. Now I play with her. Now I talk to her. Now she opens up to me. She shares things that she wouldn't share with other people. That's relationship. See, religion doesn't offer that opportunity. And I'm happy I think you said it in your, relationship is what offers that type of opportunity when it becomes a child and God. Mm-hmm. God and his child. Religion won't teach you that. Mm-hmm. It's about works. Mm-hmm. What you do. What you don't do. How you do it. When you do it. Relationship is, what is God saying? And are you being obedient? Are you being loving? Can people see the God in you when you open the door? When you walk in the door? Somebody else said, I still need some more growth. This is very needed conversation. You have forced me to call myself for a meeting. Self-evaluation. Trust me. I have to do a lot of self-evaluations and self-awareness to see, God, am I in your will? God, babe, have you ever asked yourself, am I in your will?
I might ask myself. I ask them that all the time. I'm still asking him.
A lot of times we ask that question when things don't go our way.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't see it.
Right.
You want some reassurance.
And confirmation.
That you are.
Yeah. Because that's the human part of us.
I mean, you still feel relieved that he does show you, yes, you're there, you're in my will. But
I wish we could stay in there all the time. That's perfection, right?
Yeah. It's like and then sometimes you have then that's when your desires and your passion to do certain things starts to interfere.
Jazz 9236, girl, you just said a mouthful. God showed me that too. Babe, I just told Divine, maybe several months ago, I say, do you know the reason why I tell you no, but then I come back around and explain to you the why? And she says, no, ma'am. And I told her, I said, growing up, people will always say, don't do that. Don't do this.
They'll never tell
Don't
you
do
why.
that. But no one ever told me why. And children are very curious
Human being.
human beings. You tell somebody no, they're going to find out the why.
Yeah.
But if you ask the parent and you love them and have the best interest in your heart for them, if you tell them the why, most likely they will not touch the hot stove.
That's right.
Think about it.
That's why I never agree when people say don't be asking God why. What you mean?
I ask God, why
I ask God
Lord?
why all the time.
Why, Lord? It was examples in the Bible. Why? Why do you see the wealthy, the wicked prosper?
All the time. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Who was that, babe? Paul or
Ooh,
Peter?
about what?
In the Bible, why
that was Solomon.
that was he asked God why. There's things that you need to know.
Prosper or something.
There's things that you need to know,
One of them.
and you need an explanation for it, especially children.
Yeah,
because if you don't tell them the why, the world will tell them the why, and their why will not be the true why.
Yeah, their why ain't gonna be the truth.
So when they hear from you, and it's the truth, and they trust you, you don't have to worry about them doing X, Y, Z. And if they do, guess what? They're going to understand what my mom and my daddy told me. This is what's going to happen. And if you have one of them kids who's going to touch the stove anyway, some kids just have to. They have
at least you told them the why.
Right. They got to suffer the consequences.
At least you done your part by telling them why.
Chosen say, I ask why. I know that's right.
I ask why all the time. They're like, God, why is it? I mean, I just be having my own little personal conversation with God.
She says, quarantine. I'm going back and answering questions, y'all. Can you feel it in your spirit when God is about to send your mate? So, I only can speak on my experience. God deals with his children differently. Okay? So I won't say no and I won't say yes.
I think it just depends on where you are.
But I will say this is how God dealt with me with Vito. And it goes back to my story. And if you can listen to all the videos, it's not going to change. I was not interested in Vito at all. When God placed, did I say place? It's the word dropped. When God dropped Vito in my spirit, I was like, wow. I saw him being attracted. Now, mind you, Vito been around me. I just never noticed him like that. I saw he was attractive. I was like, wow, he kind of cute. All of these attractions was coming to me. His relationship with God, with God showing me his heart, all of this stuff. But I thought at the time it was depending on how you handle it, it could be a distraction. So I thought it was a distraction from the enemy. So I took those feelings that I started feeling for him and I gave it back to my Father in heaven. God, these are your feelings. I don't want them. This man could belong to somebody else. I don't know. Don't know why you're having these feelings. There it is. As I gave it back to God, I said, I am your child. And I always felt like if you let something die, and if it's God's will, God will resurrect it. You will not have to do anything. Mm-hmm. And so I buried it, gave it to God. God did what he wanted to do with it, and the feelings were gone. 3 months later, Vito approaches me. God dealt with the man. Now, he prepared the woman not to pursue a man. He prepared the woman, he prepared me to receive the man when he comes. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense to you. Because this is what I'm talking about, our experience. As God dealt with me at the time, I didn't know why I was getting these feelings for Vito. Gave them back to my Father where they belong. 3 months later, Vito approached me after God deals with him. Now I could say, I cannot say God dealt with me in the spirit at that time, but because of my relationship with God, and I knew God knew more and he knew better than I did, if Vito was the one for me. So I trust God with my feelings. I trusted him with my emotions, and I wasn't afraid to give it back to him because I was in my contentment phase of my life. I wasn't in my, oh my God, I want to be married. That phase had been long gone. I wasn't in that, oh my God, I gotta have a man, I gotta have a husband, I'm so lonely. That phase had died a long time ago before I started having feelings for Vito. So there was nothing in me that really wanted to pursue him. Because at that point it was all about my father's business, doing what God called me to do. And then when Vito approached me, he was like, and asked me the questions about, what did you see in me? Because he asked me, was I interested in him? And I said, I was. He said, are you interested in me now? No. I said, that it's dead. And I meant that. It was dead. I gave it to God, it was dead. He said, well, when you were interested, what is it about me? And I said, God showed me your heart. Now, whether or not you feel like that was in the spirit, I just felt like I was just being obedient at the time. I had a relationship with God, so I knew those feelings was not meant for me to pursue a man. Those feelings were meant for me to give it back to my father and let God deal with the man. So I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure if it did, but that's how God dealt with me. Babe, how did God deal with you? Did God deal with you in the spirit about your mate, your future
Yeah, he
mate?
deal with me in the spirit. Yeah.
So
Well, you know the story. I mean, you told the story. Yeah, God dealt with me. You know.
so God dealt with him in the spirit.
Yeah, he dealt with me in the spirit because I was broken. So, you know.
So I hope that answered your
But
question,
from her
Quarantine.
perspective, from a woman's perspective, she was asking from her perspective because of you being a woman.
No, well, she was asking both of us.
Well, she didn't have both of us, she had you.
She didn't say Marshall. She was just asking
She
the
said,
question in general.
right.
So that's to me, that's both of us. Can you feel it in your spirit when God
And I
is
think it just
about to
depends
send
on,
your
I think it
mate?
depends on, just like you said, it depends on the individual. God, I didn't know, I didn't feel nothing. That's what I'm saying from a male perspective because he prepares the man to be the one to approach the woman. Some men, they probably already knew who their wife was and they proclaimed it right then. That's my wife right there. I know that's my wife.
I've heard those stories too.
Yeah, I've heard those stories like that. Some men, he deals with them because they're stubborn. He has to break them, he has to detox them, he has to take them through a process of healing and all of that stuff. And so I think it just depends on the relationship with God at that time and how God deals with that person. Yeah. Mhm.
Someone say Vito said he had to. What is that? Vito said he had to be broken first.
Yeah.
That was good. What does that mean? Being broken.
Well, a man has to be broken first because a man generally, his nature is to go off of what he sees. Men have a problem with listening to the spirit in their immaturity and also even in their maturity. Sometimes because they're very prideful creatures. Just like a woman goes off her emotions, a man goes off of his pride of what he sees with his natural eyes. So being broken is another way of saying that God has to really put that man to sleep like he did Adam. When he put Adam to sleep, while Adam was asleep, Adam was not awake. So God was pulling a rib out of him, forming up Eve. And when he did that, Adam was still asleep because Adam didn't, had Adam been awake, Adam would have chose who he wanted. And he would have went off of what he saw with his natural eyes. So being broken means that a man has to be broken. He has to come to a Jesus moment with God to address his issues, his problems, how he operates. He has to be shown himself. Remember in the book of Isaiah when Isaiah saw the glory of God, and then Isaiah was a powerful prophet, and Isaiah was the one who prophesied the coming of Jesus Christ. Remember? So let me hear that.
Oh, sorry.
So when Isaiah was able to prophesy and he had this relationship with God, but God showed him something that he'd never seen before, and he saw God's glory. As soon as he saw God's glory, what did he say? Oh, I'm a man that is undone. That means when he saw perfection,
He couldn't even look upon it.
he couldn't even look at himself and say, I know I mount up to this. No. That means he was broken. He was, oh, there's somebody that is greater than me. There is someone who is more esteemed than I am, and he is the Almighty God Himself. So when Isaiah saw that, he was broken. God humbled him. So that's what a broken means. When a man has to be broken first. And when he's broken, that's when he comes into a realization of who God really is. You know. So that's what broken means. Because every man, they are so used to operating off of their pride. They are used to operating off of what they think they know. They think they know everything. They think they got it going on. You can't tell them nothing. Those are men that are not broken. They feel like they don't need no help. They got this. I got this. But in the eyes of God, when you humble yourself and willing to accept God's will,
I said, and you don't got this. Yes.
You'll find out that you don't have that.
Yeah.
So that's what that broken means. Somebody just
Wawa 48. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. I'm trying to go up. I'm missing. Wawa 4803 says, "There you go. That's the title of your next episode. Help me God's way." I did do a video.
You did a video
on. Matter of fact, it's called "Help God's Way." Yeah, help
God's
me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's titled. I had it wrong for 16 years, but the thumbnail says you could be hindering and not helping. Then it says help me. What is a true help me? So while I go back and look for that, so I did a whole video on the whole thing and how I came to that revelation. Kylix says, I wanted to ask something with this being so much conversation about people having a laundry list of things together before getting married. Do you think it's keeping people single longer than they're supposed to be? Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What was the question?
I wanted to ask something. With there being so much conversation about people having a laundry list of things laundry list of things together before getting married, do you think it's keeping people single longer than they're supposed to be? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
And
can I say this? Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because God's timing is everything. It was for you not to be in that state of mindset until 11 years. It was me to be in that state of mind until after 5 years.
What state of mind?
Okay, the state of mind is that your list.
No, she's not talking about that. I thought she was talking about that too.
What's she talking about?
She's talking about a laundry list of things that they have to get together before they get married.
Oh, okay. Oh, you talking about they have to do? Yeah. They have to get themselves together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm saying yes. I believe that's keeping people because you're not going to be perfect.
You're not going to be perfect.
Now, if let us clarify what you're talking about. Are you talking about a laundry list of things that we need to get together ourselves before we get married, or are you talking about?
She's talking about what you just said.
Are you talking about the list that the list of your preferences? I'm thinking you're talking about things that we think we have to get together before we get married. And there's some things that we didn't have it all together when we got married. If that's what you're talking about, I'm hoping that's
probably what she's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's.
So yeah, I would say.
Scroll down and see if she.
Well, that was Colette. Let me see. And someone says yes, it's good to have both of you on. Funny thing, God has been sending me to your videos from 6 years
Yeah, we
ago.
did that.
I found you all on YouTube during the pandemic, and I can say y'all have been consistent in what y'all talk about. It's been a blessing. Uh, is people being single so long really what God wants, or is it just opinion based on personal experience? Is
Mm-hmm.
people being single so long really what God wants, or is it just opinion based off of personal experience?
God is chosen by God chooses marriage His way. So if people are single, marriage ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna be married. So it's in God's plans on who He chooses, who He wants to be married. People have a tendency of putting themselves together and they put God in and say, "Yeah, God put me together," or God, they want God to bless something. But in actuality, you'll see that when God do things, I believe there are less people that are married. There are. I would say there are more people that are married. There are more people that are married. They married. They connected themselves than God connected them. Because there ain't too many people that got married than God. God connect people. But just like you said, there's a lot of more unsaved people than there is people saved. Just like there are a lot of a third of the angels that were deceived from heaven versus a third of the angels versus the rest of them, the remaining that is still in heaven.
Jazz says, I'm a guy and I went through my broken phase, broken as if I was dead.
Where you
That's what God uses. Right here.
at? Okay.
Thank you,
Broken
Jazz.
faces. Oh, okay.
That's what God uses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about the kingdom marriage movement? What does that mean?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, break that down for me, Quarantine. Is it Quarantine Diary?
Where'd you get it from?
Yeah. What do you think about the kingdom marriage movement? Explain what you mean, baby. Khaled says, example, there are so many women who have gone beyond childbearing years, still saying they're waiting. Hmm.
Say that again?
She says there's women who have gone beyond childbearing years, and they're saying they're still waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question would be, what does the childbearing years have to do with if God wants them? My thing is, if they're waiting, are you asking if they are supposed to be married because they have reached their childbearing ages? Do you feel like people who are older cannot be connected by God because they can't have children anymore? I'm asking a question. Because I do know people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, never been married before, but God sent them a husband and they're okay. Again, when God connects to imperfect people, they're going to be okay with certain circumstances. But I don't know if that's what you're talking about. So I want to make sure I answer it the way you're asking. She also say women are in their healing process for years on end. I can say this. There was things I didn't know I needed healing from until I got married.
Mm.
There's certain things that you probably won't even realize you have an issue in an area until you get married. Does that mean that, oh my God, you shouldn't get married because you're imperfect? No, it just means that there's certain things that may not, your eyes may not be open until you have that individual that God sends you to show you you. Many times in a marriage, God showed me through my child, which came through this marriage. God showed me through the marriage that I would not have seen otherwise. There are things that God showed me while I was single. He showed me in a lot of areas. But there's also things, had someone told me, Marcia, why are you acting like you so independent and you married? I would say, I don't act like that while I'm married. I let that go. Until Vito tells me, no, babe, you still think you single. I thought I was fine in that area. Does that make sense? So there's certain things that you don't even know you have an issue with until you with the one that God have you to be with. You could have this issue all
Mm-hmm.
your life, but
Yeah.
until you get with the one that God wants you to be with, it would never be revealed to you until then.
When you walk in God's way, it opens up so many secret things that you did not know
Mm-hmm.
about yourself.
True. That's so much. That's
When
so
you
true.
operate in God's will, God will reveal things in you that you never would even thought of.
Yep.
It's amazing how He does that and how much He loves you so much that He's willing to reveal it to you because you're ready, because you're in His will. If you ain't in His will, He ain't gonna reveal it to you because He's wasting His time because your ears are dull
Yep.
or your ears are closed. You know how He calls them a stiff necked, rubber neck people?
Mm-hmm.
It's because their ears are they stiff hearted. They're not hearing nothing. So, but yeah.
And Kylie, I think I'm saying your name correctly. She says that I understand that marriage isn't for everybody. With there being so many single people today, is it God or is it something else? It could just be people just wanting what they want. It could just be they're waiting for God. I mean, only God can answer that question, to be honest with you. God knows why He has people waiting. God also knows that that person isn't ever going to be married, but they just haven't come to realization of that yet, or they don't want to come to the realization of that. Can you imagine me telling you, how would you feel if God never wants you to be married when you have a desire to be married? I'm asking you that question because I had to ask myself that question many moons ago. God, how would I feel if your will for me is to never be married when at the time my desire was to be married? I had to be honest with myself. I was going to be mad. I was going to be angry. I was going to be in denial. I was going to be whatever until I was content with God's will, whatever that was. Many people are not content in what God's will is in their life. They want what they want. Their desire is stronger than God's will for their life. Um, I think because maybe in my own mind, people who want to be single are so, and people who don't want kids don't want them. Okay. Some YouTubers give a word of prophecy and declare a season of marriage, and they have tons of views. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that alone. Sad, really, because people believe it. Yeah, that part, what you just said. Adoption is possible if they can't biologically have kids due to advanced age. If they still want kids, that's the option. Jazz 9236 says kingdom marriage movement, as in marriage is now being popular. I think it's just social media making it look that way. Well, one thing about us, we don't watch social media like that. We don't watch other channels. It's almost, I mean, listening to you, Jazz, it sounds like that phase, babe. Remember that season of money cometh now?
Yeah, come on now.
Everything was about prosperity.
Yes.
Everything was about money. And now is everybody gonna get married. And so when when it's God, again, there's a process. There is a waiting period. There's a waiting season. People want stuff done instant. Instant gratification is key. People like to hear what they want to hear. Fancy, what do you call fancy talk, babe? Somebody itch your ears.
I don't know, itch your ears. I don't know. I don't know what they call it, but yeah.
People love to hear what they want to
I
hear.
want to hear.
So I would click on to that person too because they're saying exactly what I want to hear. People with a lot of views, some people are speaking truth. Some people are speaking based on emotions. They know what your emotions want, and that's what they talk about. We don't have a lot of subscribers because what we talk about, people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear you gotta wait on God. People don't want to hear let God, connect your marriage. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear, die to your flesh. Consult God first.
Nope.
People don't want to hear that. People want to hear attraction, physical attraction,
You got
emotion, and then spiritual. That's the order they want to hear. They want to hear spiritual,
Yes.
emotional, and then physical. That's not the order that the world wants to hear. And even with so-called people that call themselves, Christians,
Mm.
unfortunately, a lot of conferences they make money because they're talking about things that people want to hear.
Yes.
You don't make money when you're talking about stuff that people don't really want to hear. It's not meeting their flesh. It's not satisfying the flesh. So if you had a desire to have children, you stayed in waiting
What
until
you
60.
reading at? Yeah, there's so many.
I know. Y'all. I can't be cute no more. I gotta see.
What are you talking about?
All right. So if you had a desire to have children, to stay in waiting until 60 and should live with that regret. So if you had a desire to have children and you stayed in waiting until 60 and should live with regret.
Well,
your desires should be the desires of God.
God first. That's the first.
Let's talk about that. When you say desires, when you have a relationship with God, your desires should be God's desires. Not thy will. That's what that means. Not thy will. Not what I want. God, regardless of what I feel, your will be done. So if your will is lining up with God's will, you can't go wrong. Please know that I'm asking these questions not to be disrespectful. I've been watching you all for a while, so I respect your answer. No, I know. Can you see?
I mean, I'm way back there. Hey, y'all. I'm way back there in the boondocks. They know you do that. Just don't even.
I did it that way so they can see both of us.
Yeah.
No, I understand. No, I don't think you're being disrespectful at all. Thank you for being mindful of how you're wording your questions. Because some people, because I can't hear your heart, it's hard for people to write without sounding disrespectful. But no, you're doing great.
No, it ain't about sounding disrespectful.
YY4803 says, sometimes God has already given us our spouses, but we friend zone them or bypass them because of our preferences. So sometimes it's not God having us to wait. He sent a DHL. We waiting for an Amazon delivery.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be. That's why you have to be in the spirit to recognize it.
Oh God, she say
you have to be in the spirit to recognize.
He sent a DHL, and we waiting for Amazon delivery. Yeah. Sometimes it's not about the package and how it's delivered. It's what.
Sometimes you need somebody who's spiritual too, who can see. You have Miss Marilyn.
Yep.
And Miss Marilyn, she was there. She was telling you, no, that's God.
That's
God.
Yeah.
So you still need that. A woman needs that too, especially a woman who's been.
Because I could have bypassed Vito because he wasn't my preference.
Right.
Everything he didn't have, I had. So on paper, he wasn't someone I would have chosen. But again, on the spiritual paper, he was everything God knew I needed because we grew together. I helped him. We helped each other in many ways. So had I looked at what he had or didn't have, I could have, like he always say, you could have lost my, what you said, babe? Lose my blessing?
You miss your blessing.
Miss my blessing. And same goes for him too. He could have missed his blessing had he been looking at the other women that I didn't fit that category. I understand that as well. I ask the Lord if singleness is what's for me. Help me to accept and be good with your plan for me. Will you still love God if he doesn't give you what you want? That part. That's the chosen, not punished. Exactly. God is greater than any human or material gain. Lord, stir up your spirit in me. I hate when people say that. You hate when people say what? Codent.
We gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. So okay. All All right, we got to get ready to go, y'all. We talk to you guys later. Love you guys. We're getting ready to go. If you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will go in and I will type. You know. What's that noise? All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. It's almost 2 hours, and he already been on live for about 2 hours on TikTok, so I know he's tired. All right, baby. You want to say anything else before you go? Before you leave?
Glad to see y'all. God bless you. Thank you for coming in and enjoying live with us. It was an honor. Thank you.
Good to see you too, Mel F. Love you both. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. That's right. Merry Christmas, you guys. Keep the Christ in it. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. What's his TikTok? Right? Somebody ask him what's your TikTok.
Dr. Daddy.
Go ahead and tell him.
Dr. Daddy Productions.
Dr. Daddy Productions.
Y'all, you got it? Dr. Daddy Productions.
Let me put it in the chat. Ugh. It's his music channel.
Producer music channel, baby.
Producing.
Producer.
Okay, you can explain what it is.
Just tell him. It's producer channel. That's all. Producer music. That's all.
Is it an S on that? Dr.
Yes.
Daddy?
Yes.
Or Dr. O Production?
Dr. Daddy Productions.
All right. There it is. Put in the chat for you. It's called Dr. Daddy Productions. Go over there, support. If you love music, he has all types from R&B, hip hop, trap. He produces his own music. So go check it out. Dr. Daddy Productions. Also, we do have a music channel as well. It's called the PTL Lounge.
No, TPL.
What I said? PTL. I meant TPL Lounge. So a lot of his music is also on the TPL Lounge, but if you want to go directly to his channel, go to Dr. Daddy Productions and support his new channel. We appreciate you guys.
On TikTok.
On TikTok, I'm sorry. That's on TikTok. On YouTube, you can find the music.
And Dr. Daddy Productions.
Dr.
At Dr. Daddy Productions on YouTube too.
Oh, he's on YouTube and TikTok. Dr. Daddy's Production. All right. And then the
And
process
Instagram.
and Instagram. And the Process Life has the TPL Lounge, also a music channel, for those who do not know. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Good night or good morning, depending on where you watching from. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, Jesus.